Hello, everybody. Today I am trying the golden SoFlat acrylic paints for the first time. Welcome to Art Prof. Welcome to Art Prof. This is our global art party. I have never used these paints before. They are the golden SoFlat acrylics, and these are matte acrylics. Let's go over to the other view. Tell me in the comments how many of you here have heard of these paints before. How many of you have never heard of them? And maybe some of you guys here have used these before. If yes, I could definitely use some tips. This is a set, and it does have a pamphlet here. Let's find out what this is all about. Okay, so it says more matte, more opaque, more leveling. And I'm very curious to know if it is similar to Flash, which is another self-leveling paint. Sounds similar. Okay, so it looks like it just has this big swatch chart, and it seems like all the paint is either opaque or semi-opaque. Okay, let's see what colors are in here. We've got Naphthol Red Light, Black Noir, Cadmium Primrose. Never used that color before. Permanent Green, Titanium White, and we also have good old reliable Ultramarine Blue. Let's get started doing some swatches. Let's see how that is. I'm going to start with the red. Ooh, it's goopy. Okay, yeah, that's very liquidy. Okay, well, let me just try a little swatch because I don't want to waste any paint. Oh, it's super liquidy. Feels like, oh, it feels a lot like the fluid acrylics. Oh, it's way thinner than the Flash paint. It feels a little bit like a more slippery version of fluid acrylics, but it's definitely thicker. Okay, so there's the red. Oh, sorry, I did that in a very different spot. I'm just going to extend it downwards. Sorry, my camera was in the wrong spot. I don't feel like it's as smooth as the Flash paint. Let's do a comparison because Flash is a paint that not a lot of people know about. And tell me in the comments if Flash is a paint that you have used before. And we do have a stream about it. Okay, so this is Flash. Oh my gosh, it's got like all this goop in there. Shoot, I shouldn't do that. Okay, I guess I haven't like mixed this for a little while. Oh my gosh, it's so much oil. What the heck? All right, maybe I should have mixed it a little. Okay, but anyway, this is Flash. Oh, the Flash is way smoother. Yeah, this is really coarse compared to the Flash. I just was curious because they're both marketed as paints that are self-leveling. This is like butter. This is thicker, but I don't see it self-leveling as much, although it could just be that I have a dirty brush. That might be the case. Let me adjust my light. I think my light's a little bit uneven. It's making it too bright. There, that should be better. And actually, let me zoom in so you can really see better the next part. Okay, let's try the green. This is permanent green. And again, let's do, oh, I think I need to shake this. This one's really not well put together. Ooh, weird. Is it not? Oh, okay, that's better. Okay. Let's just shake it a little bit more. Okay. We're going to try the green. This one feels smoother. I felt like the red wasn't as smooth. It's definitely more self-leveling here, but again, I feel like it's my brush, so that's super unfair of me to have any judgment on that. Okay, this one feels really nice. That feels self-leveling, but it still does not feel as buttery as the flash paint. Okay, let's try now another color. How about let's try the blue. It's definitely not as thin as fluid acrylics. That they would be more different than the fluid acrylic. I feel like these are almost interchangeable, but maybe I'm wrong. It is definitely matte. I mean, there's zero sheen on what we're looking at here. Okay, so that's the yellow. Let's see how this looks. Oops, this is a dirty brush. I really should not use dirty brushes. That is really bright. Look at that. It's almost fluorescent looking. Sheesh. It's pretty strong pigment because my understanding of self-leveling paints is that they're really good for things like painting signs or something that needs to look more graphic. I don't know. I feel like I like the flash better. Okay, and now let's try some of the black, and I'll mix together some of the white as well. Oh, I should shake it again. Okay, so note to self, shake your SoFlat acrylic paints. And tell me, if you do acrylics, what's your favorite kind of acrylic? Because I, for the longest time, only thought there was heavy body. I had no idea there were all these different types of acrylics until very recently. Wow, this black, it feels a lot like purple. It doesn't look that black to me. It looks like dioxazine purple, but just like a little bit darker. Yeah, that's a very purpley black. At least that's how it looks from where I'm sitting. Okay, so there's the black. And how about I just mix some white into the black? I'm just going to mix straight on the paper and see how that is. Okay. Actually, the white is not as liquidy, but I think, again, I forgot to mix it. So let's do that. I got to shake this up a little bit. Okay, and then the last color I would like to try is the blue. This is ultramarine. Shaking that up, and then I'll stop and take a look at comments. I just feel like this isn't that different from fluid acrylics. I feel like out of all the colors that I've done so far, the one that really feels like self-leveling matte paint is the green. The green really feels that way. The blue, it's still a little bit streaky. And I feel like that's the whole point of self-leveling paint, is that you don't have the streaks, and it's really, really nice and matte. All right, so if we go through these, out of all of them, this is the one that I think really does do what it promised, which is the self-leveling matte. The red one, I think that's my brush. I think my brush was messy. Now this is flash. This is not the SoFlat. This is the yellow, and this one's a little bit streaky too. I guess the black is pretty matte. Okay, so between the green and the black, these are the two that do that. The blue is still pretty streaky though. Okay, let's take a break and see what people are saying in the comments. Neil is asking, what will I paint today? I picked out this bread fairy image. It is this delightful beet soup with some sour cream and some dill. I wanted to try something that was a little bit more graphic looking. So it's not going to be the same brushy thing that I typically do. And let's see what else people are saying in the chat. If you have a question, a good idea would be to type the word question in all caps, so it's easier for me to see your question. Yes, borscht. That was the name. I forgot. I don't know if hers is specifically borscht. I don't know if she had other things in there, but anyway, there's beets in there. Doug says, I like the SoFlats because they thin down really well while staying matte and tinting very well on miniatures, a different use case than canvas. Oh, what are the miniatures made out of, Doug? I'd love to hear about that. Okay, so Jen is confirming now that golden fluid acrylics are high gloss. These are matte. I'm trying to see. I just feel like the green, I really like the green. I feel like the other ones I don't like so much. The green for me is just totally outperforming the other colors in terms of that matte quality and the self-leveling. 10K says, what do you do to get energy and motivation when you need to paint but you feel super tired? You jump on a live stream, 10K, where people expect you to be present. I'm not kidding. I'm actually really tired today, but I'm like, yep, gotta wake up. That's a good way to do it. Honestly, I think there's so many times when it's just not worth fighting that. If you're tired and you want to paint, I mean, sure, you could get yourself to do it, but I just don't do well when I'm not feeling great. And it ends up being a frustrating session for me because then I force myself to do work. I'm miserable when I'm making it. I'm miserable about the outcome. And so I usually give in and say, ugh, I'm not going to paint, or get on a live stream, whichever one works for you. That's probably not the answer you want. I would rather just go take a nap and know that, okay, I missed a session this week, but I did have one session this week where I really was alert. I find it very hard to make myself do that. Tell us in the comments, how many of you here, if you're tired, but you feel like you want to paint. Do you find a way to wake yourself up and get motivated, or do you give in like me and just go take a nap or something like that? Quick follow-up from Doug. Minis are generally plastic, white metal, or resin. Oh, good to know that the SoFlat works well on all those surfaces, because painting things that are 3D made out of those materials is such a different experience. So Lena says, my favorite acrylic paints. They are so smooth. Well, thank you, Lena. I love. Any tips or just to tell me things that you really like about them would be great. And we have Tiff, who says, golden liquid body is super pigmented. My flavor of the year for acrylic paint. It's pricey, though. Liquid body? I don't think I've ever heard of that, Tiff. Oh, man, another acrylic paint to add to my list, because the other acrylic golden I haven't tried yet is High Flow. And I don't feel like you really understand what each of these paints do until you've tried them all. Yeah, I don't like heavy body, Neil. Another thing that Zayden brings up, acrylic gouache is more versatile than fluid acrylic for me anyway. I can get almost any effect I want except for the heavy body look, which I can live without. How do you guys decide what type of paint you're going to choose for any given project? Or is it more, I love high flow acrylics, that's what I'm going to use all the time? Because the thing that's interesting about these SoFlats is they do remind me a little bit of gouache, because gouache is so matte. These are definitely thicker. I feel like gouache, if you touch the surface of a gouache painting, it feels like chalk. These don't feel that way. These definitely feel a little bit more plasticky, but not super plasticky. Doug says vortex mixers are the best way to handle this type of acrylic. And ideally, you want to use some kind of glass or metal agitator ball in the paint. Wow, can you get a small one, Doug? Or are those one of those tools where it's like industrial sized and stuff like that? Good reminder from Starving Artists, if any of you guys today are painting along with me, you certainly can tag me in art alongs and show me what it is that you're working on, because I love giving people shout outs with what they're doing. So these are some pieces. I know, Anna, you've been working on these. We were talking about these in art club the other day, and great to see your progress on these. Yeah, or if people have other things you want to share, like Doug, I'd love to see some of your miniatures. That would be super fun, and it would be great for others to see that as well. Yeah, Tal, I agree with that. I feel like the Flash is creamier, more smooth, more self-leveling, and is, I don't know, it felt so like nice and soft. And I don't know, the SoFlats don't feel like that to me so much. George says, got an ad from Blick today featuring it. To my knowledge, we're not aligned with Blick. At least we're not getting any royalties from them. Okay, so Doug's explaining my vortex mixer is a refurbed lab vortex mixer. Picked it up for about 100, but you can get cheaper ones. Fits on my painting desk just fine. I'm going to have to look into that. Oh, thank you, Tiff. I was getting confused. Tiff says, looking at the paint tube, it's golden fluid acrylics. I think I call it liquid body because it comes out the consistency of hot chocolate. So Tal says, I love golden high flow and fluid. To be honest, I don't notice a difference between the high flow and fluid, but I really like them both. They remind me a bit of acrylic inks. Somebody told me in the Discord today that the high flow come in a different type of tube, which I think does shift a little bit our thinking. And we have Slate, who says, I often have to paint tired because I'm tired all the time at certain times of the year. Oh yeah, sometimes it just doesn't let up. Olive says, oftentimes I give in, but I feel disappointed in myself throughout the entire break, and all I can think about is drawing. This is probably a reason why I'm not a freelance illustrator who works on a deadline. Not that I'm not capable of that, but it's not something I'd want to be doing 90% of my time, like always being on a deadline for painting. I feel like that would stress me out a lot. Tara says, never force myself to do art when I'm tired because I won't be happy with what I make. Yeah, and I just don't like feeling miserable while I paint, because to me, that painting time is so precious. I don't get it that often. So when I do get it, I want it to be a fairly satisfying experience. I don't want to be exhausted all the time while I'm making it. Mari says, I wondered if it was just a super runny, watery caprese salad. Yeah, that's really funny. Okay, let's get back into the piece. All right, so we did our swatches. Let me zoom out so all of you can see the bread fairy piece. If you don't know who the bread fairy is, the bread fairy is my mother-in-law. And I just had dinner at her house yesterday. She made me this amazing pasta with zucchini. It was just so flavorful. Okay, you know something? Typically, I do an underpainting. I might just skip it. I'm just going to skip it. That's extremely unusual for me. I'm really into underpaintings. But let's just try it. Why not? I would like to get started with the blue in the background. Oh, hang on. I have to clean up this mess. And I will also be taking photos of the work and showing it in the Discord. So actually, let me get a picture of the flash so that way you guys can see the comparison. Although the flash that I have, I didn't mix it at all, which was totally my fault. But I'll take a photo of that so you guys have access to it. Okay, so let's just start out with some blue. I'm going to not mix for a little bit. I'm just going to go with flat colors, which again, for me, is really strange. That is not something I typically do. Oh, I need to use the flow stuff. Okay, so this is open thinner. That Slate got me. Thank you. And also retarder. I'm going to just try the thinner. I don't feel like I want to thin it a ton, but I'm just curious because I do happen to like more of a flow for when I'm painting. Oh God, don't tell me that this thing is stuck. Oh, shoot. I think I have to like clean it out or something. Oh, well, that's why it doesn't work, because I never opened it. Oh my gosh, I feel like an idiot. Okay, here we go. Maybe now. Guys, I'm so tired. You know when you're just so tired, you're like, all I can do is laugh. That's the only thing that's getting me out of here. Okay. Oh, that's really thin. Okay, I think I don't like that. I think I just like it straight. We're just going to do this. Again, very different way for me to paint. This is not how I typically paint. Today, I was looking at Malika Favre, Favre, and she's a really outstanding illustrator. I don't know what she uses. I feel like her stuff might be digital, but I think that's a really good fit for a paint like this, which is SoFlat. And for me, this is such a huge departure. This is like the last way I would ever paint these crisp lines. I'm going to start that way. I don't know that I'll stay that way, but to me, this is what this type of paint wants to do. I don't know. I thought I was going to like it transparent, but now actually I think it's much better opaque, or at the very least, the first layer would be better opaque. And what you see me doing right now, I'm just painting around the spoon and the bowl. See, the blue feels streaky to me. I liked the green. See, the thing is, though, I don't really like paints where it's something that visible between colors. Because if I'm looking for a particular type of acrylic paint, I want to know that all the colors can do what that green paint did. For me, that's something I don't feel like I like as much. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I'm shooting photos along the way. So that way you guys can take a look. And I'll shoot some photos also of the paints and of the palettes. And again, this will all go in the Discord. Okay, I'm going to chunk in some big areas of red just to jump right into it. No mixing for now. Maybe I'll do just some straight red to pull out the big highlights. And then I'll come in, I'll mix like a magenta or something like that. But what I'm thinking about right now is the planes, keeping it really simple. Probably should have a bigger brush. Thing is, I don't think I have a bigger brush. I think all my brushes are messy. Well, that's bothering me. I think I do need to clean the brush better. Okay, hang on. God, painting is so much maintenance. How many people here are working on a painting right now? And if you're not working on a painting, what are you working on this week? I just, this week swamped with just, you know, the work that is just so freaking boring, so slow, but really annoying to work on. That's what I did all day today. It's like, please give me a break. Like, I try to break things up so I don't have days like that. I try to have days where, okay, I do the annoying work in the morning, and then later on I treat myself by doing this other thing. But like, today I just couldn't get out of it. All that administrative stuff. I mean, my favorite thing is being here and talking with people. Although I did have some voice calls today. Okay, that did make it a little bit better. But that kind of bummed me out. Because I'd like to have, I don't know, sometimes I think work, it's how you distribute and schedule annoying things. I feel like that is my existence. Is, okay, well, this thing really doesn't bother me. Whatever, I can deal with that. Oh gosh, I hate this one task, but I can't procrastinate because it's very important, and that really irritated me a lot. Gosh, this is such a different look, everybody. What do you think so far? It is so not how I typically paint. It's weird for me to see myself painting this way, in fact. I'm a little startled by that. Okay, I think I'm going to stop and mix a darker red. Okay, so let's try that on my palette. And I'm going to see if I can hold this up for everybody to be able to see. I don't know if a palette knife will be necessary. I kind of think no, because it is so slippery. Okay, so that's flash. I'm not going to use the flash. We're going to take some of the red. Oh, it's so, look at that. It's super goopy, you guys. Okay, no palette knife. We're just going to use the brush. And let's see. I guess I could use the palette knife just to take the paint out because I don't want to make this all yucky. I'm going to get in. Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. I just spilled all. Oh, my God, you guys. I just spilled like a quarter of this. What the heck? I'm such an idiot. Oh, my gosh. Ah! You guys, that's really sad. I think I'm going to try to save it. I'll show you a picture. You're going to cry for me. Oh, man. It's all over. What? Oh. Oh, my God. It's everywhere. Maybe I can scoop it up later. You guys, it's so bad. What is my problem? Okay, I am scooping it up. I'll show you a picture in the Discord. You're going to cry for me for how much acrylic paint just came out. Oh, okay, tell me your worst spills, everybody. My roommate spilled a gallon of gesso on her living room carpet. That I have never done. Oh, God, you guys, I can't believe I just did this. I'll post a picture in the Discord. I feel so dumb. So if you guys are in the Discord, you can take a look and be very impressed by how bad I am cleaning things up. Okay. Let's try adding some of that black. Okay. That red. I guess you can kind of. Actually, you can do the palette knife. Okay. It's still very goopy, but it's not that bad. Okay, but that is way too dark. Let me get in some red. Clean my palette knife. This is so lame. I can't believe I spilled that. Okay, where's my red? Okay, here we go. I'm usually pretty good at not spilling things like this, but I guess this is what happens when you're kind of tired. People have been asking me about the workshops and when they are going to start up again. We will start the workshops back up in September because actually I have a really rough week coming up next week. And if you want to know what's happening, subscribe to Prof's Art Bites, which is my newsletter. It comes on Sundays. But yeah, people in the Discord already know, but maybe some of you other guys are curious. It's really unpleasant. It's something I really don't want to deal with. But it doesn't affect Art Prof in any way, but it's just it's a health thing that's coming up. And it's fine, don't worry. I'm totally going to be fine, but really not looking forward to this. So that's coming up on Sunday. It's really brown. I don't like how brown that is. I think this is a big chunk of pork right here. It's super brown. I feel like I wish I had alizarin crimson, but I guess I could just add some blue for that. I'm just trying to separate where sour cream is. Who likes beets? Because you know what? I don't know what I did, but my kids have decided that they don't like beets. And I'm like, what did I do to you? my other kid decided that they don't like plantains. And I'm like, I made you really good plantains. And like, I hate them. I'm like, what's wrong? I failed as a parent. My kids don't like plantains. My other kid doesn't like mushrooms, but I'll blame that on my husband. My husband doesn't like mushrooms. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed that my kids wouldn't have this beet. And I was like, this soup is so good. How can you not drink this? Well, eat this. Oh, that's kind of nice. Okay, so we're getting in some darker areas. I'm trying really hard to make sure I go right up until the edge. So this will give some depth to the foreground. Yeah, so far I like it straight. I'm not feeling the need to do a ton of mixing in here. Okay, since I put all my blue here, I'm going to do a little bit of red. Hopefully it looks more purple. I'm not sure if it's going to work. No, it just came out brown. Oh well, whatever. We'll fix it next time. I'm not being super careful about how I'm doing things right now. Okay, there is a big chunk of beet in the middle here. We have to articulate the sour cream. Because I have this recipe for a Russian beet salad, and it's really good. It's got apples and garlic and pecans, and my kids won't eat it. Okay, so now we understand where the sour cream is a little bit better. I can't wait to add the dill. That is going to be really fun. Okay, we're going to go back and work on some of the... Well, you know what I can do since there's paint all over? I can just paint off the brush. It's so annoying. I can't believe I did this. Yeah, this is the pain of being an artist. And every time I get a new art supply, I'm like, I'm going to be so careful. I'm going to take good care of these supplies. And then within 5 minutes, it's like all over. Okay, so just some simple strokes in there. I guess I'm going to mix up a little bit of maybe a bluish gray. So I'm going to scrape some of the frickin' blue off my brush. Look, see? There's so much. I can just scrape it. Okay, and I'm going to add a touch of black and a scoop of white. So here's the white. I feel like I need multiple palette knives or something because you can't squirt out the paint, and so you have to dip a brush in here. Okay, I'm going to put that stuff on my palette. And so this is what we're looking at here is the white. I'm actually just going to add some of this like that so I can thoroughly mix the gray. Although I think it should be a little lighter. I guess I'm realizing that's why I'm having a little trouble, is that I can't just squirt things out like I typically would. Okay, that's a more consistent gray. We're just gonna pop in there because I do want this big gray shape to be more visible. What I'm trying to do today is keep it simple. It's fun to try different approaches that are just things you would never ever do yourself. And I feel like the live streams are such a good play space in that way, which is really nice. Okay, we're also going to come back and re-articulate this shape because I feel like I lost that quite a bit. And I think I'll do the white stuff later, but I will also come in here and trim some of this. Okay, not perfect, but it lays in some general colors. Okay. Sorry, I should have put it over here. There, that's better. Oh my God. This stuff is dangerous. I need to just like stop and put lids. This is definitely a logistical issue. I don't know. Is this just me? I'm like the only person who can't keep the stupid lids on top. I'm just going to do it right now because I have a feeling it's going to happen again. And that yellow is dangerously close to the edge of my table. So we're going to make sure everything. Let's see. Oh, this makes me sad, you guys. Oh man. All right, see my hands? It's pretty bad. All right, let's see if I can wipe out enough to go in my. Oh man, this is not really the most organized stream. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay. Brittany is asking, is the golden SoFlat matte acrylic paint better to use with a palette knife instead of a paintbrush? I had a hard time with the palette knife because it is very drippy. I was able to use it a little bit on the palette, but because it's so drippy, it spread a lot. It's not like the other acrylics where you can like pick it up and mix. It's very, very fluid. Brian, I love this. When you see blue sky with your spilled blue paint, go for it. George says, in college, spilled a 5-gallon wastewater sample in the sanitary engineering lab. The profs were not pleased. Oh, yikes. That is not fun. Oh, Brussels sprouts, in my opinion, should never be boiled. And Lisa says that they're too earthy, but I get that they're unique. Okay, Jen, like my kids, hates beets. Oh, golden beets. I've never had those before. Towel, they taste like dirt. Yes, Olivia. Not Olivia, Olive. I like them in salads too. Starving Artist says 1.4 gallons of liquid clay over my shared college studio floor, nearly 3 days to clean up properly. Other students were not happy. Yikes. Ugh. Okay, so Doug is suggesting SoFlats and fluid acrylics work very well on wet palettes. They keep the paint live for several hours. I need to pick one up because so many people are using them and I really don't have a lot of experience. I should have gotten one for this stream. Oh, you also switched to dropper bottles for everything, much less messy. I feel like I want that because these containers, they're a little bit awkward, and the fluid acrylics are nicer because you can squirt them. Like, I'm actually finding this to be annoying in terms of having to dip a brush or a palette knife in there every time. I wish it had the same packaging as the fluid acrylics, but maybe it's not possible. Lisa, my pen just exploded. I had to take a break and clean. Yeah, I mean, look at me. It's pretty bad. Randy says it's very patriotic. That's true. Look at this. It's like colors of the American flag. We also have people working on various projects. Laura says painting a portrait, not happy with it yet. Honestly, Laura, I think all portraits look pretty crummy until you're almost done. And I also just think with a portrait, we tend to judge ourselves very harshly in a really unfair way. Because if we're painting something like, I don't know, mushroom, my kid gave this to me, nobody gets that upset if it's wonky. But a face, oh yeah, it's deeply uncomfortable to have to sit with that for a long time. But that's just the way portraits are. Any tips for Laura, everybody, in terms of portraits and trying to get past the feeling unhappy thing? Because I think it's very easy to judge ourselves, but you have to really try to not do it because it just feels like rendering judgment on your work, which is never a good feeling. Oh, so Doug just posted an example. Okay, let's take a look at that in the Discord. And we also have Tara starting a drawing of figs. Oh, they look so plump, Tara, even at this early stage. I mean, your colored pencil work, Tara, is so beautiful and soft, and I feel like you really understand form. We also have Elisa just inked this. I drew him live at the Senior Center. Gosh, your fountain pen work, Lisa, is really taking off. And then, is this watercolor that's underneath? I love this little tinge of green that's in the ear. Yeah, see you guys, do you feel bad for me? Look at this. Look at this. That's a lot of paint, you guys. That's not, I spilled like a good couple ounces there. And then of course, like this is what it was like when it was all nice and pretty. But you can see here, this is the flash paint. And when I squirted it out, it was just like pure binder. So I probably, I don't know, but it was in a tube. I don't think there's anything I could have done about it. And then down here, this was the golden open thinner that I ended up not using. But yeah, this really makes me sad, you guys. Oh, you put it into live discussions. Okay. Live discussions. Latest resin print I painted with a mix of SoFlat and fluid acrylics. It's a 75 millimeter armature. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. Wow. I mean, all of the individual pieces, and I imagine it must be very hard to make sure that the colors from other parts don't get on the other parts. Actually, I'm wondering, Doug, all of the folds in here, is that painted folds or are those actually 3D? Sometimes a little hard to tell in the photo. See, I love this because I don't paint miniatures. How would I ever know to tell you guys this stuff? That is one of the best things of learning in a group, is just so many people can really give us a sense of the scope of what a particular material can do. Okay, so Doug says actual 3D, but you have to paint the shapes in as well. Very cool. Okay, well, let's get back into this. All right, let me do like a light gray for the bowl. And this I might actually add some of the open thinner because I don't want that bowl to be super. Oh, whoa, you guys, this dried really fast. Oh man, that gray that I just mixed, it's almost all dry now. Sheesh. Oh my gosh, it dries pretty fast. Okay, well, maybe I have a reason to use that extender, the retarder. This, I'm just going to fill in one solid color. Okay, so it seems like the retarder really would be a good idea, everybody. tell me in the comments, those of you who paint, how many of you guys use retarder? Because I cannot stand that acrylic dries so fast. I pretty much always need to use it, unless I'm trying to do the beginning. Like in the beginning, I don't really use the retarder because I'm just filling things in. But later in the process, I tend to like it more. Yeah, wow, that dried really fast. Okay, here comes the retarder, because this is something I'm definitely needing. Oh, shoot. Did I not open this either? What the heck? I swear I used these last time. How are these not open? Maybe this is like a second bottle that somebody else gave me. Okay, well, at least this time I knew to open it. Okay, we're going to add some retarder to that gray. And actually, I like the retarder better, the one that I have right now, than the thinner, because I feel like the thinner is really thin. But then again, it's called thinner. So I'm being a little unfair, complaining that the thinner is thin. That's really rude of me to the thinner. Yeah, I'm using a lot of thinner right now because I actually want to be able to see some of the lines that are behind here. Like any painting, oh, such a mess. Actually, I'm curious because Laura had mentioned she was struggling with those portraits. For you guys, at what point do you feel like you look at the piece and you say, okay, yeah, I feel pretty good? Is that usually way late in the process? Or is it more something where it's not done yet, but you feel like, okay, I got my groove on? Okay, and I'm actually going to back up because I'm not showing the whole thing. Okay, there. Now you guys should be able to see that better. Yeah, because I do like that being... There we go. Okay. Now, since I have so much spilled blue paint, I can just take it to clean up a couple spots. Oh, it's drying already. Oh, man. I'm running out of time to use up the spilled paint. Yeah, there's not a lot left. Okay, I'm just going to go in and fix up some of these edges, make them a little bit cleaner. And I'm trying to avoid the white of the page. And I'm also curious, who here is going to go shopping after the stream for SoFlat acrylics? Or are you like, nope, not going to do it, Clara? I will say we have a lot of enablers in art club. And so we always say, listen, if you want to think about art supplies, you better hide your wallet when you hang out in the art supplies channel, because we're so bad. Like, people will come in and they'll type something like, should I get these? And I'm like, yes. So we're not very good about that in terms of saving money. But isn't it nice to have people who won't say to you, oh, that's a waste? I don't know. Have people heard that? Like, I've had a lot of students tell me that their parents will say things to them like, oh yeah, art's a waste of time. And I just cannot conceive that you would ever think something like this is a waste of time. I mean, sure, maybe it's not actively making money in the moment, but why does everything have to be about making money? Why can't we just do things? Oh man, you guys, this is almost dry. This is so dry. Oh, lost all that blue. Just putting it back now. Okay, and I also want to add a little bit of white here because there's quite a bit of white on the spoon, and I don't want to leave that for too long. Just dip in right away. This isn't going to look good, but I need to have something to hold me in place so I don't start forgetting about these moments. God, it's been a while since I painted. Like, I always forget just how much freaking work it is to paint. Painting is so time consuming. Okay, we're just going to add just a touch more of some darker grays. Okay, it looks bad, but who cares? It's fine. Okay, now, ooh, I get to do the sour cream, you guys. This is going to be really fun. All right. Oh, this has too much gray in it. I don't know. Are people ever surprised by how much work painting is? Because sometimes I work on it for like 2 hours, and it's like you can hardly tell that I worked on it. Okay, now for the white, I think I want a little touch of yellow in there. So let me add just straight white so I have that opacity and coverage. And then we'll mix a little bit of some yellow in there so it doesn't look so sterile in terms of color. I want to make the sour cream look really nice and goopy. My favorite thing to make with sour cream is spinach and artichoke dip. Yum. That is one of my favorite things. That is something my kids will eat that in 10 minutes. Same with my spouse. He's worse than them. His family has a little bit of a tortilla chip obsession. You know, like, I like chips. They're fine, but they cannot live without chips. Like, my spouse will go to the store and he'll come back with 3 bags of tortilla chips and maybe a drink. I'm like, could you please pick up some of maybe the helpful things, please? Like, you're the computer science genius. Okay, we're going to use a little bit of yellow, which is now covered in blue. And I don't know how this is going to... Oh, whoa, that is really bright. Shoot. Okay, I don't want that. Maybe I'll mix a little bit of the gray in there. Oh, gosh, that's really gray. I just want to get this shadow here so it doesn't look so flat. Ha ha ha, so flat. Oh, I'm so funny. Okay, at the very least, that's just a placeholder for things. What I'm trying to do right now is paint in a more blunt manner, because that's something I don't usually do. I don't paint with shapes the way some artists do. I like to build things slowly. That's kind of nice. I like some of that gray. Ooh, I like that. Oh, that's really nice, you guys. That's really cool. Ooh, the gray is really helping me. And let me go back in with some white so we can pull back some of those highlights back here. Tell me in the comments, do you guys like your paint to be glossy or matte? Because when I compare this to gouache, I feel like gouache is way more delicate than this, which I would expect. Acrylic is always going to be not as fine or delicate as gouache. I do like this a lot, though, because it does feel really substantial. Gouache, I have a harder time with. I think it's maybe a little bit too delicate for my taste. Okay. I need to get in some sensibility of some of the blues. So let's take our blue-filled paint brushes, and I just want to get some of the lines in here. I'm going to keep it pretty gestural, but I think at the very least some indication of this line. I'm not going to let these be a little bit brushier. These I'm going to be more blobby with. Okay, I definitely need some thinner. It's really thick right now. So let's get the thinner so we can spread things out. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, good. I like that. Just a bunch of quick strokes to articulate the general direction of the shapes. So right now, very, very blobby, but I think that's okay. Because eventually, in theory, I'd go back and work on this more. These little mountains, and just to show some of the leaves that are distributed everywhere. They get pretty blobby down here, so I'm going to add a lot of thinner. It's also lower in contrast. Oh, I hate drawing patterns. Who here likes drawing patterns? I really don't like it. It's a pain in my butt. But I can't get away with putting absolutely nothing there. That's a bad idea. Ugh, the blue paint is like all dry, you guys. So sad. So I'm not painting everything. It's more like I'm just picking and choosing a couple things that I think will be helpful. And then later I do multiple layers to get myself out of that. I am going to emphasize a couple blue lines, like in here, ones that feel more prominent, and also down here at the bottom for sure. Because here's where the bowl, the edge sort of disappears. And actually, I really should get more blue here. This got really gray. Okay, let's get a photo of what that looks like. Sorry, I think I've been forgetting to take photos along the way, but hopefully still helpful to you guys. Yeah, oh man, I did not take good in-between pictures. Really sorry about that. Okay, let me put them into the Discord. Ah, oh, so hard to remember all these things. Okay, so let me show you guys what we're looking at. I'm such an idiot, you guys. Look at this. So, okay, the last version that you got to see was, oh, I didn't post it. Let me post it. Okay. So this is this is the first version I posted, and I just posted this. It's like a really big leap. Sorry. I really should have posted something sooner. Oh my God, you guys, I'm such a wreck today. I'm like spilling things. I can't remember what's happening. I think you're at that point where you're just so tired. You're like, yeah, whatever. I give up. By the way, everybody, did you know that Art Club is our best program for learning? This is where I spend most of my time. In fact, most of my morning, I'm either doing a voice chat in Art Club, Open Studios, and another cool thing, this is new, is we now have annual membership in Art Club. And if you do annual membership, that is 2 months free. Art Club is really fun. I think there's a bunch of people here in the chat right now who are in Art Club, and the TAs are also hanging out there. Lauren, Jordan, Kat, and Deepti, and Mia, they are all in there regularly doing voice sessions, and it's a great place to hang out with us. Oh, sorry about the light. Oh, you guys, I'm so not together today. Sorry. Okay, so OG, Posh Geek, mostly matte, but I've been known to varnish or seal more gloss, just not high shine. I guess I don't really sell my paintings, and so I don't think a lot about varnishing. Maybe I should. But I guess my big problem is I always get paranoid that I'll need to take a photo of it after I varnish it, and it'll be impossible to photograph. Because what I try to do is photograph the work first before it's been varnished. So that way I don't have to worry about that. But I don't know, for some reason that part really stresses me out. Well, thank you, Posh Geek. I'm so glad that you think Art Club rocks. Oh, this is so interesting. So many people here paint matte. So Doug says, I mostly prefer matte, but you will inherently lose some saturation when you matte gloss. It's a physics thing. Oh my gosh, do you have a physics degree? We have so many STEM people in the Discord. It's really incredible. Randy says, how do you approach the lines on the rim of the bowl? Okay, well, let me pull up that reference. The thing that I do, which maybe isn't the smartest thing, I just eyeball it at first. And then as I paint it more carefully, I'll make tweaks. Now, I know there's a linear perspective thing you can do. I don't have the patience, to be honest. I know, very flimsy excuse. But for me, a lot of it is little tweaks. So I'll put down, okay, I think it's about here. And then it's like a million tweaks to get to that point. But another thing is, depending on the type of work you're doing, that precision isn't necessary. The way I'm painting is not really about that. So I think sometimes you can get away with it, but it is not as important as people think. I mean, it's sort of like when people do linear perspective and they feel like if they don't use a ruler that their piece is going to look terrible, but that's not true at all. Actually, give me a second, everybody. I need to change this window so that way it's not so bright, but I would like you to know about Prof's Art Bites, our new email newsletter. I send it every Sunday, and it's fun musings. Unfortunately, the one I'm sending on Sunday is not so fun. It's rough what's happening next week, but so is such is the life of a person. But if you guys want to subscribe, that link is in the description below. And I really enjoy writing. I miss it. I wish I could write more. How many people here like writing? Because I know a lot of us are like, oh, the artist statement, that's usually the thing that artists have to write. But I like conversational writing. I love writing the newsletter. It's really fun for me. And Tara, to come to my house, onion dip and sour cream. Anna, it doesn't love you back? Why? Brand Artist Studio says, yeah, painting is a lot of back and forth between mental and mechanical. Tell me if this is the case for you guys. I feel like once you have a decent amount of skill, so that you're not like flailing, you know, if somebody's learning to swim and you put them in the water, they're like, ah, you know, this huge panic. But, you know, to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not going to drown instantly. I can dog paddle at the very least or something. I feel like most of it is your mindset. Because for me, there's a lot of work to do in terms of experimentation with materials and what I want to do. But I don't know that that's hard as much as that is just, I have to be persistent. I have to keep trying it again and again until I actually get the results that I'm looking for. But the staying motivated, not getting discouraged, not comparing yourself to other artists, that is hard. I think that is way harder than thumbnailing, than painting a portrait. Certainly those all have huge hurdles, but it's like those mental challenges we have when you've got that voice telling you you're not good enough. I think that is very hard. Alexandria says, art is part of our dialogue with the universe, not waste. As for SoFlat, I like this example. Oh, I really love the way you put that, Alexandria. Olive says, I'm so lucky. I have supportive parents. My mom is an architect and often helps critique my drawings if I need a fresh pair of eyes. Oh, that's so fantastic. I'm so fascinated by architecture. I don't know anything about it, but I am completely blown away by how people manipulate space. Okay, so Omizu says, I love SoFlats. And OG says the mist bottles are marketed for things like hairspray, but they're refillable. Did you guys know that Posh Geek is helping dress me? In art club, I always get fashion advice from Posh Geek. So while art club is about art, there are a lot of other things that we talk about as well. Okay, so you use that mist bottle periodically over the palette. Fantastic. And Lena says, I use a tiny drop of retarder with golden. Pretty sure I heard about it. The reason I got it was on Art Prof during a live stream. I know, we're the worst art supply enablers. And Doug is mentioning short working time of acrylics is just the thing you have to figure out. You can use filter techniques mixed on a wet palette, very different from oils. Oh, I know, because there's like a wall of golden whatevers that you can get. And yet there's also things like the open acrylics, which are formulated to dry at a slower rate. But then it's like, do I take the golden open acrylic and add the retarder? But how is that different than using a lot of retarder with the fluid? It's like you have to figure out the proportions of things and how they're going to work for you. Because actually, this is the most vague thing I'm ever going to say. I think the way I judge a paint, if it's good for me or not, is how does it feel in my brush? Is that so vague, you guys? Or do you sort of know what I'm talking about? I want it to feel good, but obviously everybody's feel good with a brush is so different. But I think that's what I experienced with the Flash. Like the Flash was like, oh, yes, it was so sweet and it glided and I just really liked it. And these, I just feel like I might as well just be using fluid and adding matte something. I don't know. There's just so many concoctions for how you can go about doing this. 7A says, keeping up your mental fortitude is exhausting too. It requires caffeine and cookies. Definitely. Bread Fairy made brown sugar cookies yesterday. I think I ate, I'm not kidding, I think I ate 8 of them. I mean, they weren't that big. They were like this big, little cubes, but those were really good. Okay, so retarder, let me show everybody what that is. Okay, so this is retarder, and Golden makes this. And what it says, additive for slowing the dry time of acrylic paints and mediums. Do not use alone or as a painting medium. Thoroughly mix no more than 1 part retarder to 6 parts paint. Oh, I guess I haven't been doing that. I just am like, oh, I don't know. Maybe there's a thing about that. And then the other thing I'm using, this is open thinner. And open thinner refers to open acrylics, the ones that don't dry as fast. This says slow drying thinner. Reduces viscosity, that's how thick things are, while maintaining the slow drying of open acrylics, slows the drying of regular acrylics, contains no binder, adds up to 25% to colors, clean with soap and water. Cool. Yeah, the thing is, I just haven't spent that much time with a lot of these paints, and that's what I really would need to do in order to really understand things. 7A says paint consistency can affect how you paint a tone, needing it to flow when you want and stick when you don't. Yeah, see, in my head, 7A, those all sound good, but I don't know, maybe I'm just not a very organized painter, because I was talking to somebody about this yesterday in art club about how sometimes it's actually good to not watch the tutorials, not learn about the material, and just whip out the paint and just play with it. I read a little bit about the SoFlats because I wanted to know if I should be using medium. But other than that, I didn't read anything else because I really wanted to just experience it. In some ways, watching all those tutorials and reading up on the material first, some of it, it's like you can't even absorb it because you haven't used it yet. So tell me in the comments, how many people here do like a PhD thesis before they start a new material? How many people just rip the box open and do whatever? Or maybe you do a little bit of both. Because I guess I like to learn about the technicalities, like with egg tempera, that you shouldn't squirt out big chunks of it. But I didn't read that much about the SoFlats. Jen says, I'm the same way. I want my paint to come off my brush how I want it to and not fight it. Yeah, me too. I want it to feel good, which is, again, very vague. Okay, let's get back into this. Okay, and this I'm gonna, oh shoot, did the crap. Sorry about this, you guys. I have to go in and reconnect things because this thing died. Should only take me a minute. Oh, wait, it didn't die. I just had a window open. Oh my God, guys. Is anybody else having one of those weeks? I so am having one of those weeks. I mean, mostly what it is I'm sorry, but I'm so stressed about next week. And not much I can do about that. It'll be fine. I will be fine. I just don't like the idea. So don't worry about me. But I am going to be out of commission for a little while. Okay. All right. Let's get back there. Okay. I can't wait to put in the dill, you guys. The dill is going to be so fun. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to get, maybe I'll get my filbert. Oh my God. I just spilled more. Gosh, I am klutzy. I don't know. It's like sometimes when I paint, I'm like, I'm going to be neat. I'm going to keep things organized. And then I blink and the whole place is an absolute disaster. Oh my gosh, it's all dry, you guys. All right, I got to restart mixing things. So I think I'm just going to go back in with the red and the black, and that will be my base. And I also should take a photo of my palette so that way you guys can see what the paint is like, because it's very blobby. Yeah, I'll get a close-up for you guys. Okay, so we're gonna, I'm actually gonna mix one that's pretty dark because I want some more contrast with the black. Okay, this time I'm gonna remember to actually take photos. Actually, I'm gonna add a lot of black. I think I need some contrast. And I am gonna try to be more playful with my brushwork. So one thing I try to do for that is I try to shift the pressure of the brush. So for example, a lot of us will take the brush and we'll just paint a stroke like that, which is fine, but I find it less interesting. So for me, it's better if I start the brush like this and I shift the pressure. So that way in a single stroke, it becomes more like a shape. It's less a stroke and more of a shape. Like here, I'm going to make it more like that. Because I do think with painting, it feels like it turns into stroke, stroke, stroke. Sometimes you want that, but I think the strokes, they start to get really repetitive. And then it sort of feels like we're seeing the same brush stroke everywhere, which is not what I want. Okay, we're going to get in some brighter red. I'm going to add a little bit of blue. All the blue is gone, you guys. It's really sad. I mean, I'm so lucky that somebody bought this for me because it's really sad when you waste things. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to the red. Get some purpley stuff happening. I just feel like it's really brown, which probably means it needs more blue. Maybe I'll mix up like a corally color. I think that could be it. These colors are all way too dark, but I'll go back in with that bright color and then we'll bring it back. Sorry, we're getting a little glare on here. I think it's too bright. Okay, I do feel like the colors darken a little bit. That I am seeing. Isn't that what gouache does? Remind me again, you guys. Isn't gouache darker when it dries? Because I feel like the same thing is happening here, and I wonder if that's just an element of paints that are matte, that they just dry darker. Okay, so we're going to get the bright red in here. Bring that back. And I'm going to mess around more with those shapes. I'm going to bring back some of them kind of died in the middle. I'm going to mix up some white. I feel like I'm missing that like corally pink color that's in a couple. Who here paints with gouache? Because I still feel that I know very little about gouache. It's really not my forte. But you know what I did get is somebody got me some casing paints. And I'm very curious about those. How many people here have used casing paints? I know James Gurney uses them quite a bit. They look sort of gouache-like, but I really don't know. Has anybody used that? No, not enough white. Jeez, this white is kind of weak. It looks way darker. I feel like I need to add some of these like glistening parts. This is too pink still, but maybe I'll paint some red over the pink. Who knows? I feel like there's a lot of like dots of white. Maybe I need that because oh shoot, that was black. I feel like there's this glistening quality to a lot of the beats that I'm totally not capturing at all. But again, painting takes time. Not easy to do. Okay, let's bring back some of the black, especially here. That's probably the most dramatic black that we have. We have any oil painters here? Because that was always my first paint. I really didn't. I mean, I guess I used acrylic when I was in high school, but that was just more because I didn't know what else to use, and that just seemed like the thing to do. So it was more a situation like that than it was because, oh, I love acrylic so much. It was just like, okay, I guess this is what we have. I'm trying to darken the spot at the bottom. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that's what we needed. Something really dark. Because that then really pulls us downwards into that area. Okay, now I think I'm going to go in, I'm going to brighten up quite a few spots. And I'm going to add a couple dots because I feel like I need that glistening look to all of the beads. Okay, let me take a photo because I'm going to forget. I'll zoom in so you guys can see what the paint really looks like. Okay, so these I'm going to put into the Discord. I'll take a look in there in a little bit. Yep, already see some fun things from Minette and Olive. I will get to those in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to mix up some white that has a little tiny touch of yellow because there's this glistening quality that I think has to be there from the beginning. I'm not going to keep it that way, but sometimes I like putting things in just as a placeholder, just to like remind myself, oh yeah, that's something I really should do later. Okay, so I'm mixing up some little bits of that. And maybe I'll make it a little more pink, maybe too yellow. Or maybe I'll have some areas where it's straight white, I don't know. But I feel like all these glistening moments, they really do help the form. And I'll add some that are also like barely there. So these are the bigger ones. I think it might be too yellow. Maybe I will go back to the straight white. Yeah, I think it's too yellow. Or too big. Who knows? The white is super drippy, you guys. Yeah, see, like there's all these acrylic types, but then it's like at a certain point, do we really need that many? Like, aren't so many of these really, really close to each other to the point that doesn't even matter to have so many types? I don't know. It just feels like they're always trying to find a new paint. I don't know. Do you guys think that's true, or am I being annoying and judgmental towards golden? Because the open ones, okay, those are very different for sure because they dry slower. Fluid for sure because it's so flowy. But then it's like if we go to high flow and fluid and SoFlat and I don't know, like Tal, didn't you say that you thought there wasn't a big difference? I am sort of seeing that from what you're saying. Okay, we're going to add some really tiny ones. Now I'm going to add some, but they're going to be a lot lighter. I mean, darker. I'll make them like pink or something. Because there really are so many of these. And I feel like this is getting that more glistening quality. This might feel like it's details, but to me it's not. It's more just to tell me that there's a glistening quality to this. And I feel like that is very important from the get-go for me to have that. Okay, now I would like to do some darkness underneath the bowl because that is an area that I don't want to keep that way. And so I'm going to add some blue to some of the maroon. Okay, and now, move this aside. There. We're going to add some dark there at the bottom. It's actually a little bit reddish. And actually now would be a good time for me to play with the background some more because I've been ignoring it quite a bit. Okay, and I'm just mixing with the blue right on the palette, painting. There actually is a pattern back here. So I'm going to go in and I am going to maybe show some of that difference in terms of value and maybe push back some of this stuff in space. And then I'm going to take the blue and I'm going to put the blue right on top. See, this is not like me. Mixing things on the palette, like that really is not something that I do. but let's just do it. It's always good to try something a little different. Actually, maybe I'll put like a light blue to do some of the patterns. Because whatever I do, I just don't want to have like all these random blue strokes everywhere. I feel like I need a bigger brush, but oh man, you guys, I have to go brush shopping. Okay, so that gets that a little bit stronger. And I do want like a dark, dark shadow at the bottom. It's actually very brown, but I think it's helpful. And then up here, I'm just going to blob on some of the blue, because I don't really care what part is light or whatever. I just want variation so it doesn't look so flat. So flat. Okay, I'm going to darken in here. And I'm going to shave some off of these highlights. I think these highlights are gigantic. Way too big. Actually, I see a lot of yellow in the highlight on the spoon. So I'm going to go back in with some of that yellow tone, and I'm just going to brush in some of that. It's way too bright. So I will go in. Oh, no, it's like strawberry. That's not what I wanted. Okay, that is not great looking, but whatever. I am going to go in with a very thin brush to delineate the edge of the plate. I do think that is becoming very important now. Like I really need this to separate from the spoon. So you can see things are getting a little bit more defined. But I also need to do the same thing with the edge of the spoon because this is very dramatic. It's turning a little more gray. And I guess I also need some dark blue in here because there's more of these like this would take forever. I'd have to like go in with a really thin brush, but for now I think that's okay. Okay, yeah, that's really sloppy. Ugh. I can always add more, but this is all I'm going to do for now. Okay. A little bit more on the bowl because it's going to look terrible if I ignore it entirely. And so now I am going to go in with a thin brush, and we're going to add some really poppy blue because I think back here it's too underpronounced. This is the type of thing where I put down too much blue knowing that later I'll paint over it, but then I'll add it again and then I'll paint over it. Sometimes people say to me, well, I painted it and then I had to repaint it and then I had to put it back. And it's like, yes, that's exactly what the painting process is taking things away, putting them back, resizing them, moving them around. It's so much just constant tweaking in the beginning. Okay. I think I want a little gray in the front. Just give this a little more value because I feel like this area is getting really dark and missing that like luminosity of what's happening in the other areas. I mean, this whole area is so complicated. Like I'd have to spend a long time on it. Okay, let's do some thin parts up here. Like I sort of want to get some of these so there's more gradients. I feel like everything looks very painted on. And if I can just come in and move these things. Maybe a little glazing. Let me get in some of the open thinner. I think that would help. And that makes it so the brush strokes in here are not so blunt. They are very blunt right now. Okay. I think I'm going to add the green, you guys. Oh, I'm so excited. This is the fun part. Ooh, look at that. It's a very dark green. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll mix a dark green and I'll have a regular green. So the dark green, I'm actually going to mix with some of the leftover red. I think that would be good. Oh, wait, I got it in the open thinner. That's bad. Okay, I think this is a darker green. Let me just try it. Actually, let me zoom in. This will be fun. Okay, hang on. We're gonna have fun with this dill. I love dill. You know what's really good with dill? Egg salad. I love dill with egg salad. Okay, but before I do the dill, let's see what people are talking about in the chat. And we will also look at Discord, and I'm going to show you guys this horrible mess, which is now in my studio. Oh, I need to take a photo too. That way I don't forget. Okay, so this is all going in the Discord. All right. Okay, so this is where we are. This is the piece right now. There's a little bit of glare in the image, but I threw something down. This is my horrible palette. It's all dry. And of course, you know, I can't find my palette scraper. It's somewhere. I have to look for it later. Okay, and it looks like we have some posts. Oh, I didn't see the earlier stage, Olive. First day of drawing, just warming up, using pens to draw so I don't worry about mistakes too much. Oh, I love the way you captured the pattern in the back. That is really wonderful. And then these sweeping crosshatch strokes. Oh, it's such a different take. I love seeing that, Olive. And I think we have an update down here as well. Oh, this is a second one. So cool, the differences. Like up here, you have the flowers very separate from each other. That's great to see. Okay, Manette says, struggling to get past the stage to make a bog body out of the clay. It has me rethinking my plan again. Might be a sign, Manette, that maybe you're not ready for the clay if you're still brainstorming those things. I just find the second I get my hands on clay or something that is 3D, it's so much harder to think through things. And this is Tiff. Painting along, having a great time. I've been in art club for a few months. It's the best part of my week. Keeps me accountable to my art practice. Worth it. I did not pay Tiff to give that glowing recommendation, but thank you so much. Oh, I really like the plate. This is a beautiful, bold line. That line is not apologizing. Okay, here are the earlier stages. This is looking great, Tiff, because I've been working with you on that alligator illustration, and I know you've done so many wonderful expressive portraits, and it's really cool for me to see it applied in a still life situation. All right, so Tara says it isn't capturing the colors very well. I know that's the one thing about teaching online that I wish I could change, is not seeing people's work in person is sometimes hard. Like Jen, you and I were talking about a painting and it was hard to see. And I felt like I was just guessing at that point because the photograph was really hard to read. But I love the colors. Oh, I love these figs, like the pink that's sort of shining through that periwinkle. And also the fact that the leaves are a lot less finished. And so that actually brings us to focus more on the figs. And I think Lisa posted an update too. Artalong devolved to splashing ink around and doodling found shapes. Awesome! I just think that's great. We've been talking a lot about abstraction in art club. Tal, you and I were talking about it, and I just think it can be a great starting point. It can also be a destination. Hey, Paula, here from Missouri, checking in a bit late, but we'll watch from the beginning also. And oh, Dylan, chicken. I really like chicken salad because I always make chicken soup, but then there's all that extra chicken, and so I usually make chicken salad from that. That sounds really good. Doug says, when I first started painting, I thought that I would eventually be able to paint things right the first time. Nope, I don't think that ever happens. Like, does anybody here feel like I painted it once, that was it? I don't think, I mean, maybe if you want to tell yourself that, but I never do. It's always an approximation. The first thing I put down, I think it's around here. And then you go in and tweak. I think it's a lot easier to do it that way than to say, okay, I got to nail it in this one way. Brian says the beet painting is turning up to be a really good painting. The inclusion of the spoon is nice. Well, thank you, Brian. I always feel sometimes that I cheat a little bit with her images because they're so well composed. Every meal she puts out, every dish has a just beautiful color scheme. I mean, the beet soup, those reds and the maroons, and then the dill, and it's like perfectly composed. It's got great contrast. Bright sour cream and dark shadows at the bottom. Yeah, Neurotic Nation's asking, can I see what you're painting from? Absolutely. The link to this photo is in the description. It's on our Flickr account, but this is the reference image. I did go in and intensify some of the saturation for a little bit, but yeah, you guys can download the high resolution version. It's in the description. Isolda says it looks so beautiful. Well, thank you. Retail therapy. I just saw that from, who was that? Sorry, I lost the, oh, you guys are talking all about casein and proteins and I guess you could say that I'm in a poly relationship with oil painting. Acrylics is my secondary partner. Oh, so Posh Geek says there's only one brand of casein in tubes, Richardson. Yes, that is the one that I have. Oh, Tara, first time you used oil, you were 9. Wow, you were lucky. I didn't do it until high school, and that was only because I went out and did it myself. Olive says, I've been wanting to get into gouache for so long, but I have no idea where to start. You know, my recommendation, Olive, I'll type this for you into the chat. Go to artprof.org and type gouache marathon into the search bar, because that was the whole point of my gouache marathon, was for me to really do gouache. I really don't have a lot of experience with it, so you will be hearing from somebody who really feels like a beginner. I felt like I just got started with it. Okay, so Tal says, light colors in gouache dry darker, dark colors dry lighter. Oh, wow, that's confusing. Oh, I guess I need to pay attention to that next time. Well, this I advocate. What Jen is saying here, I do some research before buying, so I know if a supply will meet my needs. Absolutely, because nobody likes to buy the wrong brand or not have the mediums that you want. that's a big thing that we do in art club is people are like, has anybody tried these? I'm thinking of buying them. And that's always a good thing because some of the stuff's expensive and you don't want to invest into it, but some of the stuff out there is cheap but really bad, and you don't want to do that either. Okay. Thanks, Paula. If you guys ever have an idea for a marathon, let me know. The first marathon was solvent-free oil painting. The second one was gouache. And certainly we could do a marathon that is based on the subject. Like if we said, okay, portrait marathon or landscape marathon or something like that. I'm always looking for things you guys would like to see me do. If you have video suggestions, let me know. I mean, most of the time, I really feel like I have no idea what videos you guys need. So actually right now, if people have ideas, videos that you'd like to see us make, put it in the chat. We do have a lot of videos, but sometimes we have certain subjects that really need an update. Some of our videos from a ways back on Instagram are not as relevant anymore because it's changed so much. So there are always things that we can redo. Bob and Derek says, gouache is basically paint with the physical property of watercolor paint, but with the opacity of acrylic. That's one thing I do like about gouache. I don't think I've really done very well. I feel like the next time I do some plein air, I do want to try starting with watercolor and then enhancing or bulking up certain sections with gouache. That I really have not done before, and I think that would be really good. Yes, good tip from Olive. Always color swatch and wait till it dries. Okay, so Jen would like a portrait marathon. Bob and Derek, I love printmaking nerds. Monotype marathon. Yeah, there's so many ways you can do a monotype. Okay, Brittany says animals, marker and watercolor. Starving Artist says another New Year's marathon in a few months. Maybe that's a good time because school vacation, I have more time to do things. I would have done one this summer, but because of what's happening next week, I can't. It's too difficult because they're physically exhausting now. Like when I was younger, I didn't care. I'm 49. I'm like, ow, this hurts. Okay, let's come back and we're going to add some of that dill. Oh my God, I love this part. It's so fun. And of course, my green is like almost dry. Okay, whatever. We'll try to fix it. You know, this brush is too big. I really need a small brush. Hang on. I'm going to find that small brush. Oh my God, everything's falling. Okay, I think I found a good small brush. Okay, so we're going to start with some of the darker green. Here is where I am going to be very careful about the strokes. Ooh, that's brown. Okay, no. That is brown. I think it just dried. Okay, we're going to just start with this. And I'm actually, instead of holding my brush more like this, I'm going to hold it a little further back so I can be a little bit more gestural with it. I'm not going to make it all nice and pretty. I'm actually going to make it sort of dry brushy. Some parts of it are dense. Like in here, this is all fairly dense. Oh, it's really nice to see the green over the red. It really looks good. Hang on, I'm getting so much glare on this. Oh, wait, sorry. There's one thing wrong with my setting. I have to change this. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that. So many, just like, 8 million settings. This is such a funny setup. I have to be so physically careful because if I bump like one thing in my setup, it like destroys the stream. I wish I could bring you guys here and see the complexity of the setup. Oh God, it took me so long to troubleshoot that. Okay, I did dip my brush in a tiny bit of water. Not a huge amount. I don't know. I mean, this doesn't look like perfect dill, but I kind of like it more gestural, so it looks like it's moving around some more. And I'm going to cheat and put it in a few more spots. Let's build this up. Okay, so a lot of this is like the dark green, so now I'm going over it with some more bright green. Oh, that's really fun, you guys. Oh, I really like that. Cool. I don't want to do too much, though. This is one of those things where you're like, oh my God, it's so fun. And then you've done like way too much. I do want to add a little bit more specificity around here. Maybe let's build in more of the red on the edges. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some red, but I'm going to put some, I guess I'll put thinner so I can work on the sides of the soup a little bit more. Okay, so this has thinner in it. Actually, I think I need more thinner than that. That was not very much thinner. Ooh, that's fun. Oh, I like that. That's really cool, you guys. I'm going to bring back a couple of edges. I sort of lost these early on. Yeah, that's kind of like a glaze over some of these spots. Get some transparency over some of the pink areas. And especially here, I feel like the edge of the white is so, it's too perfect. Okay, so this helps a little there too. It's more just getting into some of those edges so that way it isn't too clearly the same everywhere. Yeah, that's better. Gosh, I really lost some of these areas. I guess I got to put them back. I don't know. I feel like I want more messy, gooey spots in here. That's what I need. I think everything's just like a little too perfect, especially on the edges. Okay, so let's do this. Let's add more of the dry brushing so we get more variety in the beet soup. I kind of like that messiness down there. I'm going to add a little bit more detail. I feel like there's some more dry brushy stuff in here that could certainly use more work. All All right, let me zoom out so you guys can all see a lot better. Of course, I will take a photo. All right, it looks really bright on the screen, but let me just take a quick photo for you guys. I'll put that, of course, in the Discord. Ooh, I had a lot of fun with that dill, you guys. That was pretty cool. Okay, so let's put this into the Discord. All right, look at this. This is so bad. It's all blue. Okay, so I put in the details and then also the final result. Okay, so let me show you guys where that's at. Okay. Oh, Manette, taking a break from my bog body to work on other things. Been meaning to finish this one for a while. Oh yeah, I think I did see the beginning of this, Manette. Wow, that you're getting so loose, like all these bleeds, but it also has a really strong sense of shape. I think this is one of my favorite parts because that really feels like it's moving backwards into the distance, and then you see the belly really popping out. Oh, Tara, you did a guinea pig. Wait, do you have guinea pigs, Tara? Oh, so sweet. I will fall for every single guinea pig picture out there. But I love the fur, like especially this. This is a really nice area of fur because some of the fur is going down, some of it loops upwards. That's one of my favorites, this little contour on the side. And I want to make sure I didn't skip anybody. Okay, good. Okay, so here is the piece. It's out of focus. Is it? Oh, no, I think it's better. I have to fix it, though. It's definitely not the right color and contrast, but at the very least, you guys can see it right now. And if we go in here, we can see up close what some of those strokes are like. I do like some of the stuff in here, this like pale green I was using. It's a little too green, but whatever. So you can see these kinds of edges. To me, that is like a matte paint look, which you can see for me, I'm a very brushy person, but this was kind of nice to have that. And then I never really got back to the spoon, but for another time. Actually, I think I cheated. I think this is Flash. It'd be fun to do one with Flash together. But this is really cool. Like this type of stroke or this type of stroke, that's not what you would get with acrylic heavy body. Yeah, I'll take a better photo. A lot of these photos are not quite touched up yet, but I will do more. Isolda says, I want to paint our little dog with a rainbow pattern like the guinea pig. Oh, what's your dog's name? Okay, you guys, it's time. Talk to us in the chat. Tell us if you have a pet. What is your pet? And what is their name? Because, oh God, you guys, I shot the funniest photo of Buddy in a long time. I've got to show this to you. He has really funny side eyes, but come on, you guys, that's sort of amazing. Like, look at those eyes. It's like, what? He looks like a cartoon character. But yeah, tell us in the comments if you have a pet, what's their name, and what kind of creature are they? Oh, Nugget, that's so sweet. 7A says, if only we could have a movie marathon where we did subjects from the story we were watching, but like copyright and such. I feel like maybe that's something we could do in the Discord. because I have to think about it. But yes, we can't do the copyright thing, but the nice thing about the Discord is that we can put things in there that maybe YouTube wouldn't like, but would be fine in Discord. Oh, ink marathon. I feel like I could use that. I'm not that good at ink, and I think I could work harder. Food marathon. That's my whole life. Food marathon. Yeah, marker marathon would be fun because there's so many different types of markers, and I feel like a great conversation would be the different types that are out there. Like Tara got me those Arts paint markers, and I'd never heard of them before, and they were great. I loved them. It seems like a lot of people would like a marker marathon. Yeah, keep sending me the ideas. I mean, sometimes it depends on what's happening or if it relates to a particular interest I have, but oftentimes it doesn't. Oftentimes just, yep, let's do this. Oh, you had a guinea pig named Ozzy when you were a teen. What? Forgot about him and he died. That's terrible. You have a black kitty named Indy 7A. Is it after Indiana Jones? Because I was in Bryce Canyon in southern Utah, which is this extraordinary structure. And I swear we were walking around with the family member. We're like, oh my God, we're like inside an Indiana Jones movie. Like that's exactly what it looked like. Olive's got 2 Labradoodles. Oh, yeah. And you guys, I want some pet pics in that channel in our longs because, oh, this is Tao. Look at those eyes. Yeah, share your pet pictures here because we always have a really good time. So we have a wellness channel, and I'm always trying to put some things to lift your spirit. I mean, of course, the wellness channel is also for talking about the challenges that we all face. That's one of the reasons we have it. But it's also nice when you can just put something fuzzy in there. I am going to need fuzzy things next week, everybody. So again, if you want to find out what that is, you want to subscribe to Prof's Art Bites. This is fun musings delivered to your inbox once a week on Sundays, and I'll let you know this Sunday why this week, next week, it's going to be a little rough. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. But yeah, some stuff I've had coming down the pike that I don't want to do. So I would like fuzzy things and pictures of Eric Bana. I'm still not off him, you guys. Like, it's really bad. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.